It's heads, you choose. Okay, Ali's break. Michael, Ali won the toss, chose to break. Thank you. The first frame, Ali Carter to break.
We're ready to go for the opening day of the German Masters Snooker. The defending and 2 times champion Ali Carter against Michael White of Wales over the best of 9 frames. The first of 5 to go through to the round of 64. The format slightly different this year. As mentioned, it's a 7-day event now, and the top 8 players are seeded through to the venue to play their first round matches, of which this is one, of course. Carter is the top seed as defending champion. We have had a round of qualifying which took place in Sheffield, Ponds Forge in December. So most of the players who've made it to Berlin have already won a round, and that is this magnificent venue. And look at the crowd, absolutely packed to the rafters for the very first afternoon. 2,500 people can fit inside this iconic arena, which is ranked by many of the players as among the very best that we play on during the season, and Ali Carter is certainly one of those who has very happy memories of playing here, of course, going for a hat-trick this year. And it's a very good afternoon to Alan McManus. Hi, Alan.
Good afternoon to you, Phil, and everyone watching. Yeah, it's nice to be back in Berlin, isn't it, for one of the favourite tour stops on the World Snooker Tour, for certain. Ali Carter will bring back such fond memories from almost a year ago. He won that final against Tom Ford, 10-3, played very strongly. And it's a good match, this, against Michael White. He's been a bit in and out in recent years, but he's shown some decent stuff this last year and a half since his return to the main tour, and we expect a close one this afternoon.
Yes, it's actually only the 5th time they played. There's a mistake from Michael White early on in this opening frame. It's 2 wins apiece, but you have to go back to 2015 and the Australian Open, remember that? White won 5-4 on that occasion, the last time they crossed swords, so this certainly a meeting that's overdue. But Carter has been arguably playing the best snooker of his career in the last couple of seasons since rejoining the game's elite. Of course, he won this title last season, which confirmed his return to his very best form. He is a former world #2, but already this season he's been in the final of the Wuhan Open, losing to Trump, and of course the Masters, where he lost from a winning position against Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's been scoring very heavily. He's been racking up the ranking points. He's 7th on the one-year list, which is evidence of how consistent he's been in recent times. And I know, Alan, you're of the view that as an all-round player now, he's as formidable as he's ever been.
Yeah, there's no question he's up there.
8.
I think he's gotten his just rewards for his commitment to the tour, commitment to his own game. I've been speaking about that recently. He's one of those players, he plays in pretty much everything. I think as you should do. Right, have some success, which he's had, then you get a bit of fatigue here and there, you take a week off, but
13.
Not Ali Carter. And pretty much every time we've seen him this season, which has been a lot, he's always looked in good touch.
For my money, he was the best player at the Masters going into that final and played superbly in the first session, deservedly winning it 5-3, and of course then took the first frame on the resumption before O'Sullivan reeled him in, finishing strongly. But that blue has gone astray, so
Carter,
something
14.
of a let-off for Michael White, just the 14 points from the safety error. Just overcut that blue. White doesn't have a particularly good record in this tournament. He's never been past the round of 32, and he's only got that far on 2 occasions. This was first staged, of course, here at the Temple Drim back in 2011. And he's had fairly modest results of late, Michael White, so he could do with a run. He's currently 55th provisionally on the end of season ranking list, coming towards the end of his 2-year card that he gained by getting back on the tour, as Alan mentioned, at the beginning of last season by getting to the Crucible, coming through qualifying for the World Championship. It really is a wonderful venue, and of course the advantage of this unique layout of the arena is that the spectators have got a choice of matches to watch simultaneously. There's Barry Pinches in the background there as Michael White flukes a red, who is here courtesy of Ronnie O'Sullivan's withdrawal for medical reasons. So Pinches gets the call up to play Julian Leclerc, former shootout finalist. A couple of other notable absentees. Martin Gould, the former champion here, has also withdrawn for medical reasons, and Hossein Vafai sadly not here because of visa problems, so their respective opponents get a bye.
It's quite an awkward table, isn't it? Just at present for Michael. Pink and black obviously out of commission for the time being. Never easy when
10.
You play the very first match on the show table. Never quite plays the same as the usually 3 practice tables out there in Berlin. No, that's a terrific pot though.
11.
Looking to really kickstart his campaign in this second half of the season, Michael White, as we see that excellent red once again. His best run in a ranking event, it's actually the shootout this season. He made the round of 16. He has qualified for the upcoming
16.
World Open in Yushan in China, but he won't be at his home tournament, the Welsh Open. He lost in qualifying to Ollie Lines, 4-3. So ranking points definitely
70.
something he's in need of, just to ease the pressure. Twice a ranking titleist. 2015 Indian Open and the Paul Hunter Classic in 2017.
Played a nice cannon there, didn't he, off the blue, but a wee bit unfortunate. Gonna have to work this cue ball back up for blue or bolt colour. Yeah, I think all in all,
23.
very good. He might not win the frame at this visit, the way they're sitting, but he's looking good early doors as Michael.
The other matches in this session. Mentioned that Mark Selby's on table 2 against Marco Fu. Sean Murphy and Sue Sir on table 3. Barry Pinches plays Julian Leclerc on 4.
28.
Sam Craigie and Liam Pullen. And Martin O'Donnell against Matthew Selt, the other matches in this session.
29.
Liam Pullen, who defeated the former world and Masters champion Stuart Bingham in qualifying in December. And this time it's Michael White who's missed the blue
29.
into the opposite centre pocket than the one Carter missed earlier in the frame. Again, he's overcut that, perhaps looking or concentrating more on the cannon.
Yeah, it's a bad miss, isn't it? Quite disconcerting when you miss that type of shot early on, but I suppose he's been very fortunate not to leave one.
This tournament has always been tremendously well supported by the crowd, very knowledgeable, huge fans of snooker here in Germany. Lucas Kleckers will be in action this evening in front of this big home crowd against Judd Trump. That'll be our feature tonight on table 1 from 8 o'clock local time here in Berlin. 7 o'clock if you're watching in the UK. Mark Allen is also in action, as is Neil Robertson, a player who is in urgent need of an upturn in form after a very difficult season for him so far. Both he and John Higgins are among the big names who need ranking points to avoid qualifying for the World Championship this season. Well, that's missed by a margin. Did that just run off a little? I think Michael White thinks it did.
That was an extraordinary one, wasn't it? It rolled off at least a full ball. Yeah, wide call by referee.
Dave, can we please check?
Dave Ford assisting Tatiana Wollaston as marker.
Thank you.
The winner of this will play Pen Yi Song in round 2 after his victory over Alfie Burden in a decider in qualifying. Yeah, Michael White is 46 on the one-year ranking list, so that just underlines the fact that results have been pretty modest this season, as they were last. And truth be told, he didn't qualify for the Crucible last season. Lost out to Aaron Hill, the Irish professional. So just looking for a deep run, and as we know, one really good tournament, and that can transform your season. 80,000 points available this week for the winner. Guaranteed 3,000 if you make round 2. Good read from Carter, but no position to go with it.
Yeah, it was a terrific pot, wasn't it? And yeah, nothing he can do at all with the cue ball there, so pretty much just taking the points. Might have a go at the red near the black, but only if he can get the cue ball in the safety zone.
In contrast to Michael White, Ali Carter has had 2 bumper seasons, nearly £250,000 banked last season when, of course, he won this tournament, but he's already eclipsed that this season, 100,000 alone for making the Masters final. Runner-up, as mentioned, in Wuhan, I should say, to Judd Trump. So sitting pretty is Carter in terms of the Players' Series events still to come, the Players' Championship and the Tour Championship for the top 16, and this season the top 12 on the one-year list. And of course, in getting to those tournaments, you're automatically guaranteed further points. So things looking very good for Carter at the moment. He's in 7th on the provisional end-of-season list. And when you think he was out of the top 16 for a couple of seasons, that's quite a renaissance.
Yeah, just the last few shots, I think Michael, he's looked a little edgy, a bit shaky. He hasn't played all that often on the main table of late. He just needs a couple of good safety shots like that one to settle him down. At distance, Ali Carter looks pretty good. Not this time though. So can Michael slot one good red in to set the chance up. It was a testy one.
Marco Fu already has the first frame against Mark Selby, helped by a break of 60, so Fu leading Selby 1-0. Some way off that one. It's been a very scrappy opening frame.
Considering the red that's nearest the left corner. Yeah, because it's the only red that you would think he could leave, but having overcut it so badly, the cue balls come out into the open, so another chance for Michael.
One.
Yeah, that was a better shot than it looked. He kind of needed something like that. Just a nice pot early on to sit him down. As I say, he does look a wee bit edgy, understandably.
One of the challenges playing in this great arena is just the ability to focus, because there's so much going on around you in close attendance. But that just adds to the unique atmosphere in this Templedrum Arena. And of course, when we get down to the one-table situation at the climax of the event, semi-finals at the weekend, then it really is one of the best places to play, when all 2,500 spectators are trained on the one table. Pretty important, though, for Michael White, who is thin on the ground in terms of positive results of late, to make the most of this chance. He's already had a few that he hasn't been able to convert. This would be a painful frame to lose from here, so very important that he converts this opportunity.
16.
There for him. It's just a question of, as ever, one good positional shot. He's got to try and keep his calm here. One good positional shot and he should win the frame, no problem. So get the pot. That's nicely done. Absolutely ideal, but
19.
not bad. I was looking at his record as well to see 6 times he's lost in a decider in pretty big ranking events. You can understand that a bit of nerves at the moment, just generally in his game. So big shot, black waiting, should win the frame if this falls. Yeah, well done.
20.
Just this red then, and White should have the first frame, and although it's not been a memorable frame in terms of quality, he won't care as long as this goes in. And it was a good
28.
shot, particularly the one prior to that frame ball red disappearing. With the rest, it was missable. But he hit it right in the centre of the pocket. Ali Carter knows this frame has now gone. He too had a couple of chances. A typically nervy sort of opening frame. For Carter, it's a big deal, of course,
35.
introduced to this capacity crowd as defending champion, going for a hat-trick here at the Templedrum this year.
37.
But it's White who has the opening frame on the board. Long way to go, though. First to 5 to go through. Semi-finals are over the best of 11
40.
frames, and the final over the best of 19. First to 10 to pick up that first prize and the Brandon Parker Trophy.
44. 49. 55 and a frame, Michael White.
A break of 55 to the pink from Michael White, taking quite a scrappy opening frame to lead the defending champion Ali Carter by 1 frame to 0 on this opening day of the German Masters. Hard in the end from Michael White. It was quite an error-strewn opening frame against the defending champion Ali Carter, but White eventually stepped in with 55 to the pink. Good shot with the rest before he potted frame ball to get the first on the board. The first to 5 to go through. The winner to play Peng Yisong in round 2.
Michael White 4.
Carter hasn't settled as yet. Good billiard shot, but not much use in snooker. The in off. Aside from winning this title on 2 occasions, he was also runner-up to Anthony Hamilton back in 2017. That was Anthony's finest hour as a pro, his parents having flown over to Berlin to watch him play and watch him land his maiden title. Judd Trump has won it a couple of times, 2020 and 2021, when it was staged in Milton Keynes because of COVID. Mark Williams, another multiple champion in this event. The first one, as mentioned, against Selby, and then again against Graham Dott in 2018, which of course was a precursor to his 3rd world title. He was unplayable that day against Dott, winning 9 frames to 1.
Oh, Nimis. Ali Carter.
Yeah, this is quite an awkward safety shot for Michael. He's had a couple of shots roll off, hasn't he, just down that left channel, so that'll be kind of at the back of his mind. I know he wants to play the cue ball with a bit of pace to try and nullify it, but yeah, I suppose all in all, it's actually quite a decent result. Doesn't appear to have left anything.
Never ideal when the big value colours go out of commission in a frame so early. Black at the moment, far from great, and the pink as well. A little awkward. And white get through to pot this red. Goodness me. That was not a controlled shot from Michael White.
Yeah, it's one of those in a brand new cloth. You're pushing it with a hint of left-hand side. It actually pushes the cue ball to the right, and because it's so slippy, the cloth, the bed cloth, it doesn't have time to come back to meet the red half ball. It just looks a wee bit shaky at times, but as I say, understandably, with the way his season's kind of gone. He's been winning some matches here and there, but as Philip explained earlier, he hasn't had a deep run in what we call a proper tournament.
But Ali Carter also has yet to show the form that we've seen so regularly for him in the last couple of seasons. So it's a pretty edgy sort of start. Caught quite a bit of that red in attempting to pot the red. There is an awful lot going on in this arena, isn't there, Alan? It's one of the challenges for the players, just to zone in on what they're trying to do and not be distracted by everything else.
Yeah, very much so. It's unique, not least the fact that the outside tables, the 6 outside tables, are kind of sitting diagonally. None of them are sort of, you know, snooker players like everything to be square on and in a box, so to speak. It's not. It's quite awkward. There's a lot of movement beyond your cue generally, regardless of what shot you're playing on the main table.
Meanwhile, another error from Michael White, the unintended double kiss. And that allowed Carter to pot the red, but he goes in off. So it's one of those matches at the moment. Very, very scrappy opening. Couldn't legislate for the in off there, off the green.
Yeah, and the red that's in bulk, it's almost as awkward as it could be. This is not a gimme, this one. Yeah, well played. Now, can he find a good positional shot? Been hard to come by so far.
Sean Murphy has the first frame on table 3 against you, sir. Barry Pinches, a late replacement for Ronnie O'Sullivan, leads Julien Leclerc 1-0. Sam Craigie leads Liam Pullen by a frame to 0.
Eight.
These players would be sorely tempted to take a red on to left corner, but with no guarantee of position. I think just the way it's gone so far, I think a safety shot might be the order of the day. I think in his heart of hearts, he doesn't really want to play this. Carter a wee bit in the back foot at the moment. Good idea to keep him there. This is risky if he's playing the pot. Very, very risky indeed.
Michael White, 8.
And didn't really get close. So although he has that first frame on the board, he's yet to settle.
One. Four.
Everything's a bit of a struggle at the moment for both players.
Carter, 4.
But at least now the black is in open play.
Yeah, he just lost his cool there, did Ali. I mean, he played that safety shot like he was obviously severely cheesed off at the result from the shot on the green, and he didn't have a think, so he's kind of put himself in a little bit of trouble here.
He's talked quite a bit, hasn't he? And I think he spoke to you, Alan, during the Masters. and his run to the final about the work he's done temperamentally with his coach Chris Henry, who he's hooked up with again in recent times. Something that, by his own admission, has on occasion caused him to lose matches he should have won. And the consistency he's shown in the last 18 months or so, as White again misses the mark, is evidence that as an all-round package now, he's tougher than ever.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they're a good matchup, actually. You know, forgetting for a minute the sort of technical aspect to the game, which Ali's obviously very good. I think Chris, because he's a proper snooker man, he's not frightened to tell Ali, look, you can't be getting hot under the collar and that sort of stuff. You know, I think that's a good thing. He's not frightened. I think in the past, maybe, I don't quite know, but maybe Ali has had someone with him who's not maybe willing to, you know, tell him what's what and one or two things that perhaps you don't want to hear. But Chris Henry's not like that. It's been a good thing for him. Quite a critical stage of the match, albeit it's still early doors. Ali will be aware here that he can't afford to leave Michael an easiest chance at the moment, because the way they're sitting, see there, he's desperately trying to hide the cue ball there, Ali, because he knows he can't afford the chance at the minute. 2-0 behind, things start becoming that bit serious, don't they?
Who's going to take a grip on this contest? So far it's been very bitty.
Two.
And again, positionally, no joy for Carter. Two for the price of one, but it would appear the break ends there, unless he's going for this yellow. Oh, that's a terrific pot. That's probably the best bit of cueing we've seen so far this afternoon to keep the break going.
Four.
Needs another one.
Five.
And of course we know his form is very much there, so consistent in recent times. So a couple of good pots can be all it takes to re-establish the rhythm.
Nine.
Yes, a couple of the shots in this frame have been the difference. A lot of the times we speak about percentage play. The red that Michael took on to the left corner, there was no percentage in it at all. But that yellow by Ali, he was favourite to get it. He'd get it more than he'd miss it. So I suppose going by that logic, you should play it.
12.
Just can't quite lay the cue ball. No. Time at the moment. I think the cushions, again, as typical first match, a wee bit soft coming off the cushion. So if he takes on the pink, try as best you can to forget about the cue ball, because getting on a red shouldn't be a problem. And well, it's gone wrong. I suppose he's got the second prize, but I'm surprised he played it with pace. I just thought dead drop in, bound to be on one.
One. Michael White, 1.
Michael White continuing to struggle. He just cannot get anything going. You might have imagined that winning that first frame and winning it well in the end with a half-century break might have just relieved the pressure, but that could be an expensive miss. This is a good chance now for Carter. And it's one he really should have got. Pushed it wide to the jaw. You can see his frustration. It's been a difficult season for him.
One. Eight. Nine. Fourteen. 15. 22. 23. 30. 31.
Yeah, that was a smart shot, wasn't it? Just lay the cue ball on the side cushion. Pretty much frame ball that red.
And this will hurt Michael White because he had the chance, missed the black. And Carter, who hadn't settled himself in this match at all, really, now has the frame well and truly won. So first two frames shared, neither of high quality. reason to
Ali
be
Carter,
frustrated at
36,
times, but
under
Carter will be happy enough to have levelled things up. For Michael White, a case of what might have been in that frame. He could have led 2-0. As it is, it's one each.
Ali Carter to break.
Will be kicking himself for missing the black midway through the second. That allowed Carter in to get the points he needed to equalise. So 1-1, first to 5 to go through to the round of 64. Remember, the top 8 players seeded to the venue this year to play their first round matches. We've already had qualifying for the rest. Last year, only 2 members of the top 16 made it past the round of 16, and only 4 actually featured here in Berlin. So this year, of course, we're guaranteed the 8 leading lights, albeit that Ronnie O'Sullivan withdrew for medical reasons. Barry Pinch is taking his place. Six tables in use this afternoon, 7 in all in the venue.
That's a poor shot. That's such a poor shot by Michael. He'll know that. Quite a basic safety shot gone wrong.
One.
Just grazed the red on the way in, didn't it? If anything, it's probably did him a favour, the
6.
fact that the blue will now go to right centre. Maybe easier than first time round.
Seven. Twelve. 13.
Yeah, he just by far looks the more comfortable of the two players. The difference in the kind of season that they're having. Philip mentioned before about Michael White's end of season ranking. He should be all right.
19.
I say should be. He could still get dragged into the mire of tour survival. He's 10 places above the
20.
bubble and 17,000 points above it, but he could get dragged in, so perhaps that's one of the reasons as well why he's a bit edgy today. Ali Carter looking pretty good. All right, been nothing like his best stuff so far, and that's gone wrong too, but he does look by far the more comfortable.
Yes, the pressure's well and truly off Carter. He's amassed so many
Ali
points
Carter,
that
26.
even an early bath here in Berlin would hardly be a crisis for him. That said, of course, he wants to make a successful title defence. Only their 5th meeting, remember. Carter's 2 wins coming on the old European tour way back in 2013. Over the best of 7 frames. But they haven't played for 9 years. White winning most recently in Australia. Oh, that's great cueing. Well, that surely is the best cueing of the afternoon so far. He couldn't have struck that any better. Wonderful pot.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, he somehow got quite a bit of angle on it. It was almost like the quality of the ball striking created it as much as anything else. That was absolutely right, Phil. Shot of the match by far.
But frustration in missing with the rest, so Carter still not quite at the races. Wasn't punished in the 2nd frame. Two 2-0 now to Sean Murphy over Siu Sir. Break of 77 in the 2nd frame, helping to double Murphy's lead. This is a title that I know Sean Murphy would love to add to his CV. Of course, he was very closely affiliated with the late Brandon Parker, a former World Snooker director, who managed Murphy for many years. They were very close.
Ali Carter won.
And Parker was instrumental in bringing this German Masters tournament to the calendar here at the Templedrum. Made the final, losing to Selby, as mentioned earlier, in 2015, Sean Murphy. He's made a good start this afternoon. Barry Pinches and Julian Leclerc now level at 1-1. And Marco Fu has punished that error from Mark Selby in the 3rd frame to lead 3-0. So Selby in a lot of trouble in that one on table 2. Of course, you can watch the outside tables throughout the week on our digital platform. Matt Selt has the 1st frame against Martin O'Donnell. And Sam Craigie now leads Liam Pullen by 2 frames to 0. Just a reminder, our feature this evening on table 1, Judd Trump against the home favourite Lucas Kleckers.
Michael's lost his way for the time being. And that was almost like a half-hearted effort. The long red.
One. Ali
It was
Carter,
a bad
3.
miss. It was one of those he wanted to punch in, but he sort of tried to guide it in, didn't he? I think punching it, he was frightened. Maybe he'll leave himself bridging. So he thought, if I drop it in, I'm guaranteed not to be. And now then, Michael, this is a gift of a chance that has to be taken.
1.
It's almost as though both players are dragging the other down at the moment. There's been all sorts of mistakes. Can Michael White get a grip on proceedings here?
Eight. Nine. Sixteen. Seventy.
Goodness me, well that
Michael
surely
White,
was a miscue.
70.
To have missed it by that margin. Problems mounting for Michael White. What happened here?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was almost like one of those ones where he hadn't chalked his cue properly, but I can't see that. I think it's just nerves. I mean, in practice, that would pretty much never happen. It's not like he was going like super deep on the cue ball. Yeah, and the fact that Ali is punished as expected just adds to Michael's woes at the moment. As I said a couple of minutes ago, he's kind of lost his way and he just looks very unsettled.
Eight.
The frustration for White will be that he's had numerous chances. He could have won the second frame. Needed quite a few to win the first. In the end, he made a decent break of 55, the only substantial break of the match so far. But that was another golden chance that's gone begging with the miscue. And an equally good one for Carter to punish to lead 2-1. 27 in front at the moment. Virtually every seat taken on this first afternoon. And remember, this tournament, for the first time this year, is a 7-day event as opposed to 5, as it's been in the past when we've had a couple of rounds of qualifying before reaching the venue. So a real bumper week of snooker
22.
for these passionate German fans to look forward to.
23.
And plenty of big names in action on the opening day. Carter, Selby, Murphy. This evening, Trump, world champion Brissell, who's had a poor season as defending world champion thus far. Neil Robertson, who's been completely out of sorts. Could that change this week? Former world champion Graham Dott. Stephen Maguire, another player who's slipped down the rankings of late. All of those in action on this first day. And this frame is going to be Carter's. And for Michael White, the frustration mounts. Lots of opportunities, but only one of the 3 frames to show.
39. 42.
This is now Carter's highest break.
46. 51. 57.
And you've got to think, given the way Carter has been playing of late, it's only a matter of time before he finds his game. He's not been punished so far for the mistakes he's made, and he clears the table with his first half-century of the afternoon. Michael White left to reflect on that very damaging miscue as Carter leads 2 frames to 1. Six tables in use on this first afternoon here in Berlin. Mark Selby trying to find his way back on table 2. You can watch that on Discovery Plus. Marco Fu leading 3-0 at the moment. Michael White now 2-1 behind to Ali Carter, but has had enough chances to have won the first 3 frames. Carter hasn't really settled in this match either, but he's been able to punish White's mistakes in the last couple of frames to get himself in front. This one, the last before the mid-session interval. 5 is the target for a place in round 2. Carter overcutting that red off Michael White's break-off, but heard him apologise there. He could have left the red, he hasn't.
One.
Yeah, that's excellent. Good pot. Pretty much had to get it. Now, where's this pink going to go? It looks like the pink spot's covered there. We'll see in a second, obviously. Yeah, so now does the straight red go? If not,
7.
which it clearly just about goes past the pink there, so that's a bonus. And that's a good chance now for Michael. This is that shot he miscued, isn't it, in the last frame? Similar anyway. I'm sure he'll be chalking his cue this time round, but you know, 2-1 behind, still a long way to go, best of 9, but just the way that he's been looking in this match, time is kind of sort of running out in some way. He's got to show Ali that he's still engaged in the battle.
That was a super aggressive shot. Unfortunately for White, the cue ball has gone up the table off that cannon into the cluster of reds. He's opened the reds nicely enough.
Yeah, it was one of those out of form shots, wasn't it? You know, right, I'm going to get them spread far and wide, but no idea where the cue ball's going to go. When you're out of form, you land in out.
Meanwhile, Marco Fu has just made it 4-0 over Mark Selby. Who would have predicted that scoreline at the midway point on table 2? So Selby with it all to do now against an in-form Fu, former finalist here, of course.
Michael
Lost to
White,
Ali
50.
Carter in the title match 11 years ago. Multiple ranking titleist in his own right, terrific break builder, and all over Mark Selby at the moment on the neighbouring table. Well, Michael White spread these reds just now. Can he now capitalise? Get himself level at the interval and regroup during that 15-minute break. It's been a struggle for him so far. No doubt low on confidence coming into this match, having had very little success in the ranking tournaments this season. In fact, the last 2 seasons, his best run has been in the shootout. Last 16 this season, and last season he made the quarters of that event, which of course he's won before. Not much else to shout about though.
Eight.
Yeah, but still struggling.
15.
He keeps giving himself quite serious questions to keep coming up with the answers, and eventually you're not going to be able to. Can he find another good pot here? But as ever, self-inflicted pressure. Got to try and steel himself and steady himself for this one.
16.
And that should be end of break.
Brown ball. Michael White, 16.
Very frustrating for White again that he could only make 16 from that chance.
Fair play to Ali, trying to press on. But again, it's one of those, the cue ball never seems to land in the middle of the table when you want it to. From Michael's point of view now, how's his cue ball here? It's no good again, it's end of break, and if it's touching ball, he doesn't have an aggressive safety shot. This game never ceases to amaze. I mean, either side of the brown, he's on the yellow, maybe the blue. It's just the way it seems to happen. Can he somehow cover in behind brown? No, wasn't able to.
Michael White, 1.
Okay, now, no problem. Just, this is one of these, just keep it simple. Don't try to do anything fancy. Just in behind the black. Well done. And ask the question of Ali Carter. He's did well also to deliberately block the right-hand cushion direct. So This is now becomes a nasty one.
Bit of movement in this vast arena with matches reaching the mid-session intervals. 6 matches ongoing this afternoon, of course. Mark Selby and Marco Fu having already gone for their break, with Selby having to win 5 in a row now. 4-0 behind at the moment. Sean Murphy has moved 3-0 up on Sur on table 3. It's 3-1 to Julian Leclerc of Belgium against Barry Pinches, who replaces Ronnie O'Sullivan in the draw. Mentioned that Hossein Vafai, former shootout champion, isn't here because of visa issues for the Iranian. So Elliot Slesser, his prospective opponent, gets a bye to the round of 32. Likewise, John Higgins also gets a bye to round 3 with Martin Gould's withdrawal. Higgins, one of those big name players who's got work to do to avoid having to qualify for the World Championship this year. That would be unthinkable, wouldn't it, for John Higgins? Holds the longest period in the top 16. Currently in 21st place, provisionally in the end of season list, Higgins. Neil Robertson, who's in action this evening, is down in 31st place in that regard. Incredible, really. 1 spot ahead of Stuart Bingham, who isn't here in Berlin, having lost to Liam Pullen. And Stephen Maguire, former UK champion and twice Crucible semi-finalist, currently in 38. So there's a lot of big names there, Alan, with a lot of work to be done before this season's out if they're to get back to the Crucible.
Yeah, absolutely. Qualifying's going to be something, isn't it? A couple of weeks before the Crucible itself, 10 days of that to come.
Terrific pot from Carter. How's the kiss? Could have been better.
Ali Carter
That was beautifully played. It was one of those, he almost played it in an old style way. He played it with deep on the cue ball and sort of dragged it towards the brown. Killed the pace of the cue ball halfway there. Sign of confidence.
Talking of Liam Pullen, who's in action at the moment against Sam Craigie on table 6. He won the English under-18 title last season, playing in his first year as a professional, the man from Yorkshire. He's 2-1 behind now to Craigie. Not the outcome that Michael White was hoping for. Chance for Carter to get back in. 31 behind. Once again, the high-value colours are awkward at the moment.
One.
Well, does the black go to right corner? If it does, he could be in business. Yeah, this now becomes a proper chance. Just got to look there. I don't think the pink's
12.
on to right corner, so he still has that mini problem to solve at some stage. See it there, not quite sure whether it goes.
13.
Yeah. Does he deal with it here and now? Yeah, hanging off for the time being.
Yeah,
just having a look at it now, what's on? Well, there it is. Pink's on, reds are not. Not to the corner anyway. Barring the one on the right, that looks like it's on, providing he gets straight on it. That's perfect. So
27.
4 behind. That was
20.
one of those ones, he actually hit the wrong red there, but it's one of those almost impossible to miss the pot. So well set for perhaps a 3-1 lead. Big moment coming up in this.
Carter hasn't really
35.
been out of second gear so far this afternoon, but the truth is he hasn't had to be. Aside from the half-century Michael White made
36.
to win a scrappy opening frame, he's really struggled. He's had numerous chances but hasn't been able to capitalise, and in playing out of the snooker in this frame, he left Carter with the chance, and at the moment it's looking more likely than not to be 3-1
42.
at the interval to the captain, although he's still got the last awkward red to negotiate.
He played that ever so well. He's going to get nice and close in behind this red now. So here's the shot. That's pretty much going to decide the frame.
49.
Ah, it's a top shot.
50.
Brilliantly played, so confident. Black and yellow, and it should be 3-1.
Very clean pot, wasn't it? Didn't touch the sides.
$57. 59.
And it is going to be 3-1 Carter, and for Michael White, what has been a frustrating season at the moment looks likely to continue here in Berlin. He won the first frame, but it didn't settle him down.
62.
He continued to play as though lacking confidence, which I'm sure he is at the moment, given his lack of match wins this season. And that brown
62.
isn't going to matter. 31 the difference. Michael White nods his head. He's conceded. So the players off for their 15-minute interval here on the first day of the German Masters. And it's Ali Carter who's done enough to hold sway at the midway point. He needs 2 more frames for a place in round 2. He leads Michael White 3 frames to 1.